All right. Don't you look at the camera? All right. Hello, everyone. Hope you've had a nice day today. I think Shelby told me y'all were doing this Saturday night, so hopefully y'all aren't too drunk and hopefully nobody's fighting yet or anything. But let's get right into it. My favorite characteristic of Jades. So many good ones. Probably her selflessness. I mean, if you've met her, you know there's nothing she wouldn't do for you. If you've been to any of our little get-togethers or hangouts on the weekends sometimes, and Jade will be getting drinks, getting food for everybody, and I'll be grilling, and it's something she's kind of passed on to me. And we just love having people around. We love taking care of people. We love just being around everybody. And if you've met her, you know that that's her main priority. Her main priority is making others happy, and that's just something I fell in love with her about since day one. Jade's most embarrassing moment. So this has a little backstory. So my family has some family friends who live on the Guadalupe River in New Braunfels. And they have this big rope swing hanging from a huge tree that you can swing down off this like kind of a balcony sort of thing. So the tree hangs out over the river. There's a balcony probably 20 feet up from the river, and you jump off the side of this balcony, swing down over the river and let go and go flying. So we're all doing it. I've been doing it forever, and it's Jade's first time at this house. And she gets up on this little like railing to jump off, and she just has a full-blown panic attack. And she's super embarrassed because my whole family's there, our family friends are there. I think I had like an uncle there or something, and we're all giving her a hard time. And I didn't really realize it at first that she was struggling. Whoops. I didn't really realize that she was struggling at first, but she was. And so it took a while, but we finally got her to go. And man, I did not hear the end of that one for a long time. Like, even to this day, sometimes she'll still bring it up. I'm like, Jade, that was like 4 years ago. Why are you still giving me a hard time about it? But that, if you ask her, she will without a doubt say that is her most embarrassing moment. Trust me. Oh, our favorite date. It's actually pretty recently. It was when we got engaged. So we got engaged in Seaside, as most of y'all know, and then we went to Disney World after, and that was another huge surprise that I don't know who was more excited about it, me or her, but we were both super pumped. And we had been to Disney World together once before a few years ago, and we really wanted to do this Be Our Guest dinner. It's Beauty and the Beast themed in Magic Kingdom, and for some reason it got canceled that first time. So going the second time with my family after we got engaged, they let us have one little date night, and we got to do Be Our Guest and sit in the Forbidden West Wing and eat the gray stuff. And I mean, it really was magical, like Disney World magic to a T. And we got to meet the Beast. We loved every second of it. And yeah, I think if you asked her, she'd say that's her favorite date, without a doubt. The clothing article that Jade wants me to get rid of. I feel like there's no real funny answer to this. I just have these shorts that used to be sweatpants, and I cut them to make them shorts that I work out in sometimes, and I guess she doesn't like them. I like them. I think they look nice, and they're very comfy, but she doesn't like them at all for some reason. So if I had to guess, that's probably the article of clothing she'd want me to get rid of. When was the first time I said I love you? So, as y'all know, me and Jade have been dating for a while, so I said it a while back. And we were at my house. This is really bad because I can't remember what we were doing. I know it could be a few different times, but I know it was as she was leaving, and I had this little side door that led to my driveway where like anybody that came over would walk out to get to their car. And we were just talking, saying goodbye, and it just kind of came out. And we were like, well, what just happened? And she said it back, and I thought it was sweet. I remember that part. I can't remember what we were doing that night. Probably just hanging out in the pool. But yeah, it was really sweet, and it meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to her, and the rest is history, as y'all know. Shelby, I'm not answering this question. Very inappropriate, very inappropriate. Not doing it. The nicknames we have for each other, pretty basic, kind of boring. I call her Jadey, little Jadey, because she's little and I'm on the bigger side. So she calls me Big Channy. Yes, that is embarrassing to say on camera, knowing all of you will be watching this, but that's how we do it. And we do the typical thing, talking in baby voices. Oh, little baby Jade, what are you doing? We do all that stuff. Don't deny it. If you've been in a relationship, I bet you have too. They say if they make you act like you're in high school, you know you're in love with her or that other person. So still hold on to that. But yes, we do all that stuff, talk like babies, do the whole thing. Yeah. What is Jade's worst habit? Jade's worst habit would have to be, well, if you know Jade, super nice, super caring, but man, she's got ADD like nobody's business. And I mean, mid-conversation, she'll get distracted by something and you'll just keep on talking and you won't even notice that she's distracted. And then once you get done, she'll just say, what? What was that? What? I'm like, Jade, what the heck? This is important. And yeah, that happens literally almost on a daily basis. So I'm kind of used to it at this point, but I'd say that's probably her worst habit. My worst habit. Man, I do lots of things that make her mad. Lots of things. Like a really long list of things that she probably gets irritated with. I mean, typical guy stuff, don't need to go into it. Kind of messy, gets kind of dirty. Pick my nose occasionally. Every guy does it, don't lie. Even you, Avery. Man, my worst habit. Whenever I go over there, I kind of just like throw my shoes, and if I'm wearing a hat, kind of throw my hat on the to the side, and my keys, my wallet. And she gets mad at that because I'm there like every day, so she gets pretty irritated with that. But yeah, I guess that's it. Worst habit, just the usual guy stuff. Yeah. Where was our first kiss? Me and Jade's first kiss was also at my house back in Georgetown. It was another one of the. Oh wait, no. This is a good story. We so I had we were hanging out. She had just broken up with her previous boyfriend, and I knew they were gonna break up. I was trying to give her hints so long before they broke up. She just, I mean, typical Jade, didn't catch on. I was like, come on. But she finally dumped him, piece of crap. And then so she probably a week or so later. And I could tell she didn't really like this guy. She was dating him because she wanted to date. Yeah, Jade, don't deny it. But so she came over about a week later with my buddy Graham, and I'd liked Jade for a while at that point. We'd been hanging out as a friend group some, just doing fun stuff, going to the lake and going to Topgolf, stuff like that. And I had developed a crush on her, but like that night, I really realized that I liked her a lot and tried to hold her hand. She held my hand back, and we were going on a walk, and then we went to my trampoline. We were just hanging out. I was doing Graham. This is kind of the funny part, but Graham's laying right there. I'm laying next to Jade, and then I just kind of pulled the trigger and made my move, and she kissed me back, and I was like, man, I really like this girl. And then we kissed a few more times, and I hear my buddy Graham, like the net on our trampoline was broken, and I hear my buddy Graham like slide off the trampoline, trying to be all discreet like, and I mean it wasn't very long. It was maybe like 30 seconds. Just we'd kiss and talk, and we got off, and that was it. And then that night, I remember Jade's mom picked her up, and Jade told me this afterwards, but just the way Jade walked out to the car and how she was acting, Jade's mom was like, you kissed him, didn't you? And if you know Jade's mom, you can hear that voice right now and that intuitiveness. But yeah, it's a pretty funny story. How many kids do we want? Me and Jade, we go back and forth on this all the time. If you ask Jade, she'll keep popping them out till she's 50. I mean, she could have 10 kids and be perfectly fine, and that sounds like an absolute nightmare to me. But I do want a few kids, maybe 3 or 4. I think we compromised and agreed at 4, but Jade tends to get her way with these things. But my answer is it's in God's plan. It's God's plan. If He wants us to have 2 kids, we'll have 2 kids. But we got the whole name thing figured out. Want to do all K's, something cute like that. But I don't know. I'm excited to have kids. I want to wait a couple years, not a couple, multiple years, more than a few. But yeah, I'm excited to have kids. We talk about it a lot. I'm sure she'll have much more to say than I do about this. What is the most memorable present Jade has given me? The most memorable present, just one thing, was I remember this trend going around for a while. It was like you got somebody a jar and you rolled up all these little notes and put them in there, and it was like, read this when you're feeling down, read this when you're feeling sad, or stuff like that. Just kind of pick me ups and just words of encouragement. And she thinks I never read them or did anything, but I actually did, and it really meant a lot to me. And I'm not a guy that usually gets all mushy and gushy, as you can probably tell by my answers in this. I'm trying very hard, but that present really meant a lot to me, and I read them almost daily, weekly, if not daily. And so Jade, surprise, I actually did read them, and they meant a lot to me. But one of the most fun presents she ever got me was, I can't remember, it was probably junior year of high school. Her dad had a super cool car. It was a Jaguar F-Type. I know that means nothing to any of y'all, but it was really cool, fast and loud, good guy car. And so I pull up to my house after football practice, or like Saturday practice after a game or something, and the Jaguar is parked in my driveway, and I'm like, ooh, Jade's here. I might get to drive the Jag today. And I go in and there's nobody home, including Jade, and I'm like, she's trying to scare me. I'm like looking in every closet and stuff, and then I come across this note on the counter, which leads me to a scavenger hunt. It has me hunting around the house, hunting around my backyard, and we had a pretty big backyard, so it took a little bit. And it was like a pair of Lululemon shorts and a Lululemon shirt, and I'm literally wearing a Lululemon shirt and Lululemon shorts right now, so y'all know how much I love Lulu. And so it led to that, and then it led back to the car. I was like, holy crap, I'm gonna get to drive the Jag all by myself. So I was burning like 90 down this little street in Georgetown, getting back to her house. And then we went to a dinner that night, and that was probably the most fun birthday present that she ever has given me. It was awesome. I still remember it. Who holds the bed cover question? We've taken a few naps together, stuff like that, and I mean, she hogs most things. So yeah, I'd say Jade. Definitely Jade. What was my first impression of Jade? Okay, so me and Jade, my first impression of Jade goes back till maybe 4th, 5th grade, probably 5th grade, at our little Sunday school class at First Baptist Georgetown. And I had known Jade for a little while. She had probably just moved back from Singapore about the year before, so I'd known her about a year, maybe 2. But she was friends with a really good friend of mine, Claire, and I was always like, man, that Jade girl's kind of weird. And like, Claire, why are you hanging out with her? That Jade girl's kind of weird. She was, I mean, like, private school growing up, very sheltered. Had to teach her a lot of things. But so I was talking to her one day. I was like, Jade, you really look like Miley Cyrus. Like, you really remind me of Miley Cyrus. And she got all embarrassed and red face and acted all weird, and probably thought I was weird that I said that. But that was literally my first impression of Jade. And obviously she grew up to be this amazing woman and wasn't weird anymore. I mean, still a little bit weird, but not as weird. And yeah, awesome girl now. But my first impression was that she looked like Miley Cyrus. I knew I wanted to marry Jade, like, without a shadow of a doubt, probably about 6 months into our freshman year of college. We'd been dating a while before, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, our relationship was growing, but I didn't realize how fast it could grow until about 6 months into college. Both of our relationships with God grew. I was chasing a relationship with Jesus before a relationship with Jade. And I think that's really important in a relationship, because if you can't live without your significant other, then I don't think you'll ever be able to have a satisfying relationship with each other if your happiness is totally dependent on that other person. And so I just, growing in my relationship with Jesus during those first 6 months of college really allowed our relationship to grow. And yeah, I think it was that Christmas break, or coming back in that January, I was like, holy crap, like, I really want to marry this girl. And I kind of thought about it before we got to college, stuff like that. Like, what if me and Jade end up getting married? Like, both going to San Antonio, we'll stay together. Like, I didn't want to break up with her or anything, obviously, but I mean, you never know. But yeah, I mean, I blame before college just on immaturity and just chasing other things. But man, once I got to college and my relationship with Jesus started to grow, and so did hers, our relationship just flourished. And I mean, I couldn't imagine life without her. And that's when I knew I wanted to marry her, and the rest is history. And now I'm making this video because we're about to get married, and that's kind of mind-blowing to me. But yeah, that's about it. So hopefully my answers didn't suck, and hopefully y'all are having fun. Hopefully y'all are, I don't want to say hopefully, but maybe y'all are drunk enough to get a laugh or two. But all right, hope y'all are having fun. Stay safe.